Jackie.
There's Jackie.
We're live too. We're live.
There you go.
Memorex. Thank you.
We're still waiting on a couple more members, but we're gonna go ahead and get started. It's a Law Enforcement Committee meeting. It is 4:32, December the 5th, 2024. I'm gonna open this meeting up for business. Take and record call. I think you've got that sheet, Jackie.
I think so.
Okay.
Yes. Sure.
Mr. Chambers is not gonna be able to make it, just so.
Okay, all right.
Okay, I need a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make that motion.
In a second.
I'll second that.
Everybody in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. We don't have any public here, so no public comments. I need a motion to approve the minutes from the last two meetings, the May meeting and the July meeting. I think she put the July meeting in your packet, but this is the May meeting. I know you were here. I know you and Jackie were both here, Dwight. It's when they had the storm and the sheriff couldn't be here and Jennifer couldn't, because I took those minutes. We had a pretty
Okay.
short meeting.
I'll approve those.
I need a second on both of those.
I'll second those.
Okay. Everybody in favor to approve the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. We have any unfinished business? I can't think of any right off, and the sheriff should be in here in a minute. He's in another meeting finishing up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we'll move on to new business. We'll hold off on the sheriff's report and go to Ms. Baker from the probation office report. You wanna come over here with us?
So this report covers September, October, and November of this year. Just keep that in mind for the 3-month time frame. On average, our caseload serving clients is around 899 average active clients on all caseloads. We had 312 new cases. This does not mean clients. Again, it's cases. Some clients may have 2 cases. We closed out 351 cases. We have 40 clients that are on state probation, and that means that they will come to us after they have completed their state time, but we still have to monitor them. For example, I had to do a violation of probation on a state case today that doesn't come to us until we get finished, or until he gets finished with his state, but he left treatment, and that was part of his plea with us. So even though we're not actively coming in and sitting in front of us, that is a caseload within itself, because you have to go and do the FOIL monitor search, have to get in touch with state probation, and hopefully they'll respond back to you with off dates, because those FOIL searches aren't always correct. So that is still a caseload, even though it's not an active caseload.
What is a full search?
It tells
Not
their
familiar
off
with that term.
dates, end dates, where they're located at, like if they're in prison or if they're on probation, and those are nowhere near accurate. The state doesn't do a very well job with keeping those up to date, and we have to chase those dates a lot. We had, over the 3-month period, we had 2 people on bond conditions. So we're not getting paid for that in any way, form, or fashion. It's a courtesy to the court that we do that. But like I have one right now, a guy that has some very serious cases pending, and they will end up being felony cases. But he is on a GPS monitoring system, so every time he leaves the house, he calls me. Then I have to alert the GPS monitoring company where he's going to, and they're only approved locations. So again, that's a caseload within itself. We had 2,995 appointments scheduled over a 3-month period. 1,535 of those were just the regular, normal face-to-face appointment follow-ups. We completed 183 face-to-face intakes, and these are the very first appointment. They're over an hour appointment. They're very detailed. 327 people just flat out no-showed for their appointments over this 3-month period. 478 appointments were canceled by clients. They picked up the phone and called and canceled, and we rescheduled their appointment. We had 96 phone visits over this time. Phone visits are utilized sometimes as a reward, and the majority of the time they're utilized if they're in a longer term treatment or out-of-state clients that we still have to supervise. Going over to the rest of that, we had 231 contacts with therapists, rehab centers, caseworkers. I know that number's much higher, but what they documented was that, because sometimes they'll just be on the phone for hours calling rehab facilities trying to get somebody in, and they don't document every time they call. There were 988 non-scheduled phone contacts with clients. This was something that the client was calling us for, that we felt the need that it needed to be documented for some reason, not just calling and saying, hey, I lost my card, I don't remember when my appointment is. There were 196 violation warrants that were written during this 3-month period. 140 were resolved. There were 123 letters mailed to clients prior to a VOP being written saying, hey, you're out of compliance, come visit with us. We attempted 327 phone calls before violation warrants were written, trying to get them in compliance. And they also get a text message reminder for their appointment the day before. So everybody that has an appointment tomorrow, there was a mass text message today at 12 o'clock. So they get that on their phones as a reminder that, hey, you have an appointment tomorrow, and it tells you what time. Again, not all VOPs are bad. Some are for extension. So if someone's not finished with batterer's intervention, which is 26 weeks, we have to do a violation for extension. There's an ROR bond put on it. They don't have to pay money to get out. They just have to go to the jail, get processed in. Normally they do that on their own time when it's convenient for them. They come back to court, get a court date, and we explain that they need a little bit more time to finish classes, and that's usually extended. We had 136 alcohol and drug evals that were completed during the 3-month period. 4 alcohol and drug education classes were completed. That's a one-time class. 15 inpatient alcohol and drug programs were completed. 19 outpatient alcohol and drug programs were completed. 2 anger management, and 9 batterer's intervention. And I put this in here just for some food for thought, because we're getting ready to fix our budgets. So I just wanted to give you guys some food for thought. So batterer's intervention is a 26-week class, and that's going to take you 6.5 months to complete if you do not miss a day, if there's not a vacation day by the provider, a holiday, sick day, something like that. Each time they step in that class, it's $25 a class that they're paying that provider. So it's going to take you $650 just for the class. It's usually a $75 registration fee. So during this 3-month period, we had 9 batterer's interventions completed. And if you do the math, we outsourced $5,850 for 9 batterer's intervention classes. If you go down to the DUI school, there were 72 DUI schools completed, which is a state requirement. Those DUI schools are $175 a class. There was $12,600 outsourced to other providers. So over a 3-month period for DUI school and batterers intervention, $18,450 were outsourced to other providers within our community. So my food for thought is, if we hired someone that became a county employee to do the alcohol and drug evaluations, the DUI school, which is normally taught once a month, batterers intervention is taught twice a week, a day class and a night class. If those things were done, plus you have 2 other employees as a backup that was trained to do batterers intervention in case this person leaves, because everybody leaves at some point. Most, they may find a different job. So whether, you leave for retirement or a different job, you would have a backup person already trained so the disruption of service wouldn't happen. So if you hired 1 employee and trained 2 people within our office as backup until you were able to replace that employee, and still cut the cost, it's $175 for a DUI class. It's a 12-hour class. Even if we reduced that price far more, because probation's not about making money, it's about rehabilitation. But if we were able to offer those services, there would still be money brought into the county. Rutherford County Probation teaches their batterers intervention. They do DUI school. They offer a lot. And they have it's either 2 or 3 teachers on staff, which I know Rutherford County is a lot bigger than Coffee County. But they are trying to bring as much stuff in-house to provide those services to their clients. And so that's just some food for thought that I just wanted to throw those numbers out there, since I know budget packets will be coming out soon.
Thank you.
I guess these amounts get paid. The client's paying them when they go in,
When they go in, yes,
Okay.
when they go in.
they
And
always pay,
they always pay.
okay?
A couple of the batterers intervention providers will let you not pay 2 or 3 classes if you're having money, but then you've got to pay, or don't you get dismissed from the program. So they're getting their money. They're getting it. And even if we cut, I'm just throwing out a number, even if we paid for a DUI class, if they paid $100, somebody's making $175. Instead of paying $25 for a batterers intervention class, you pay $12. And you have to pay that before you are allowed in class. So I don't want it to think, oh, there's money in this, because that's not what it's about. But DUI school is a state requirement. So they're going to pay the money to somebody. They're going somewhere for these services. Batterers intervention isn't a state requirement, but 99% of the domestics has to have at least a domestic eval to see if they need batterers intervention. And batterers intervention class is not a bad thing. It's different than just your typical anger management. So I don't see that changing.
So what are the requirements? You say if you have an employee, what kind of schooling and all that they have to go through?
It would be a bachelor's degree, like all of our employees
Okay.
now have. It would be a bachelor's degree.
So you're saying you already have somebody that could fit that position, fill that position right now?
Well, I don't want to lose one of my team
Right.
members, but yes, all of my team right now, even my administrative assistant, has a bachelor's degree.
Okay,
So if that job was posted, I know of 2 people in my office that would possibly be interested in that job, and then I would have to refill that opening. But I have 2 people that may be interested in a position like that.
And they would be employees, they would not be contract.
No, they would be
Type deal,
employees.
whatever.
Because there's enough, our work week is 37 and a half hours a week, so there is enough work if you're teaching a one-time DUI class a month, like Rutherford County divides theirs up in 2 days. They'll do 6 hours and 6 hours. But a lot of these places just do 12 hours wham, and it's by Zoom. So the people don't come in to the office, they sit on their couch, and it's by Zoom, by a lead instructor by Zoom. Batters Intervention is an in-person program, and they would teach a day class and a night class every week. And
Oh.
then,
How effective are these programs?
I think any program is as effective as the person that's willing to put the work in. You can go and sit in a class,
Yeah,
but if you're not willing to learn from that and utilize those skills, then it's not gonna be
well,
beneficial.
I guess, the main thing I'm asking, does anybody ever graduate from this and go to the next level and, turn out to be good people, or?
Oh, yeah, there's lots of people that graduate from the program.
But
then
do they,
there's-
do they ever come back?
Oh, yeah. There's people.
Repeat offenders.
There's people that come back for repeat for everything, but there's a lot of people that don't, that don't come back for whatever crime it is, not just necessarily
Yeah, that's true.
domestic.
Some of them learned a lesson and some of them don't.
Yeah.
Some of it's just embedded in them, I guess.
So as far as mental health evals, we had 5 to complete evals. We had 5 completed mental health counseling. And normally, mental health counseling completion is a level of stability. Very rarely will you find a therapist that says, yep, they're finished with mental health counseling, because that's not the case. It's ongoing, it's normally a lifelong thing, and they're just met to a level of stability. There were 181 proofs of job, school, or disability that were submitted during this 3-month period. Our demographics, when you break it down for the entire caseload to include the bond conditions, the unsupervised, the state, all of that, we had 1,311 white clients, 112 Hispanic clients, 4 other clients, 2 Native Americans, 189 African American, 6 mixed, and 4 not otherwise specified. And I put that in there to let us know how our county is changing the demographics of our county. We were improved for our 8th employee. That person came on board in August. For over 15 years, we had operated with a staff of 7, so we needed that new team member. And we've laughed there for a short while. Their caseloads were around 125 to 130, and right now we're back up on average. I looked at the caseloads a little bit before I left, and we're looking around 135 to 138. So they got a small breather for a little while. It did allow me to bring my caseload down. I had about 30, 40 clients less than what they did, and now my caseload's hitting around 70. So that allowed me to bring mine down a little. We had an administrative assistant resign in October, and then we had a new one that started November the 6th. As a partner in education, myself and one other employee went to Hillsborough Elementary and read to a 3rd grade class for Halloween. That was so fun. That was just, it gives you a chance to get out in the community and let people know that we are a community partner. We're not just what other people may think we are. But that was really fun. We had a good time. We were gone for about an hour. Our whole team completed ASI training in November. Bedford County Probation joined us. We partner quite a bit with them in training to make it more cost effective. We paid for this training. In January, we'll be doing the ASAM training, and they'll pay for it. So we have been partnering a lot with Bedford County and communication a lot with Rutherford County. Those are our 2 biggest communicators with probation. Even though there were several vacations and fall breaks and holidays during this 3-month time frame, the team worked really hard to get clients' visits completed, and we are trotting along, doing good. Are there any questions?
No, thank you for your very thorough report as always.
Thank you.
Sheriff?
Questions?
How about some answers?
So you've got the jail population in front of you. We're back down to 346 today, and that's good. Our female population is back down some. A couple of weeks ago, we spiked up over 400, and we're seeing some spikes every once in a while, but judges were aware of it, and we were able to work on that. It was just a short phase there, but we're very fortunate compared to the other 94 jails. We're maintaining a good population. We still have a lot of unsentenced people, and that's beyond any of our control. We'll leave that up to Laura's boss and the DA to get that fixed. But anyway, I was over in the other meeting, and I'll report what I was doing over there to y'all. We've got some central units on top of the jail that's just, we've got them duct taped and baling wire together. And Monday, we had 3 units that just quit. And we've been fighting these units for over a year. And Capital Outlay just went ahead and passed on to start phasing and replacing the units on top of the jail pod. I think there's 4 big units on each side. January, when we had the big snowstorm, we had a unit that was down, and it was parts, had to find parts for it, and we had to put gas heaters. You know, there's not any electrical outlets like in a normal room in the jail cells. So we're limited during extreme heat in the summer on how we keep things kind of cool. And we're limited in the winter when we don't have heat, how to keep them warm. And I had to violate every rule and regulation and everything. We had to put, propane gas heat inside those pods, or those 200 inmates on that end of the jail would freeze to death. And we keep temperature logs for lawsuit purposes, because first time they don't feel comfortable, they handwrite a federal lawsuit and send them to the district court.
And none of that was put in that redo here, was it?
No, sir.
The train deal, that wasn't
Right.
part of the jail either, was it?
No,
I didn't
that was
think
left
so.
out.
And the sad part about it is we've got a service contract with Lee Company, and I had another feller come to look about doing a service, and I grabbed one day I saw him at a store, and Jeff Stroop from Tullahoma. Our kids played ball together. I said, "Have you got a few minutes?" And he said, "Yeah." I said, "Come out here to jail with me. I need you to tell somebody it's HVAC stupid. I need some advice." And we climbed and got on top of the jail, and I said, "You see," he said, "Man, you got a lot of units. I think there's 18 or 20 units on that building, and they're big." And I told him what I was wanting to do, and it's for getting a service, and cleaning filters, making sure the drain pipes work, the belts are changed on the compressors, and just general maintenance, yearly maintenance. He said this really a lot larger than what we deal with. He's got some commercial stuff he does. But anyway, he popped the door open, and he said, "I've never even heard of this brand." And he got to Googling it, and he said, "This company doesn't even exist." And Terry just got done saying, he said, "Yeah, when they put them up there, that they were for some closeout somewhere and
Wow.
put them on that." He said, "I'm surprised they've lasted this long."
Are
and
they
all.
10 years old?
Yeah,
About 10
yeah.
years old.
And the life expectancy of some of them now. We had carrier units on this building when it was built. They were 40 years old and clicking right along. But even your residential units now, if you get 5 years out of one, it's just sad, the quality of them. But same way with car transmissions. You know, they don't put dipsticks on transmissions anymore, and they want them to. You know, they just tell you don't change the fluid in them because if a 4 to 10 speed transmission goes out, they just want you to come buy another one and
Yeah.
put, you know, and that's ridiculous. But anyway, so we've got heating. We've got them going. They're bootleg together right now to keep the heat going.
Are they
But-
gas?
Yes, sir. Everything out there's gas.
Thought they were.
Yeah. So I'm not looking at doing a complete replacement at one time. We're just gonna take priority and do a little at a time where it won't hit us financially as bad. But going to get Rick, Susie to come and we get some folks up there, and I guess it'll have to go out to bid. But you know, we just things, you know, the HVAC, kitchen things. I mean, we're you know, we had that 5-year honeymoon period when they opened that thing up, but now we're really, our maintenance is more and more and more. But we're you know, we're going to try to maintain it as long as we can. But when you're housing inmates and housing people, there's things that we have to do, and that's one of them. I mean, we have to have our commodes be able to flush, and we have to have running water. And you know, if something breaks in the kitchen, we could run out to the drive-thru at McDonald's and get them some Happy Meals.
No salt.
But no salt. I'm gonna tell them,
No onions either.
no onions, it's saltless.
Yeah.
But you know, understand what I'm saying. I mean, you can dine out for a little while until you can get the kettle fixed. But other than that, I don't really have any. Jennifer, you think of any?
The two girls started off doing the.
Oh.
Scanning
We've got our historical records, or our records digitizing scanning program going, and they're over at the old jail, and they got them in the office down there, and they bring out so many of those banker boxes out of them cells, and they're digitizing and scanning, and really glad to get that going. That was one of those things when 6.5 years ago I peeked in that door, and I thought, we'll come back to this in a few years. but appreciate that, and that's something that need to be done, and that's something that that can go on long time, not only for the sheriff's office but the clerks, all the offices that have to retain records, and maybe get rid of some of these fire hazard paper boxes and all that good stuff. But we hired with some good news for once. We hired another female detective, and I invited Vice Mayor Nettles to come sit in on that interview, and I wanted her blessing. And we're excited her name's Julie Cox, and she comes to us from Murfreesboro Homicide, and she's retired. She's actually still employed by Murfreesboro PD. She's burning time, but she's been off for 2 months, and her husband's originally from here, but he's worked at Murfreesboro PD for 30 years. Anyway, they bought a home, moved back to Manchester, and somehow or another she got word to me she would be interested in talking to us for something to do, because she thought retirement was not going to be her thing, and that she had a lot more to give. And I'm kind of excited. You know, I kind of a big city detective coming to work at the sheriff's office, and I'm kind of, you know, it's going to be good for our boys and guys out there to have another mother figure, which Laura still comes, and when I need somebody to go over there and rough them up a little bit, Laura will change hats for a minute. But appreciate that. But
she'll be a good
we need we're
good.
kind of
Yeah.
lacking in the female department in our with investigations, and you know, when Laura took the other job, you know, I was really eager to, but I wanted the right person, and I think that, you know, I've patient, and this person has come into our lives, and we're excited to see how that works out. You know, my female deputy is over at Animal Control, And, but I'm looking at, you know, I've got a young lady that I'm, looking at soon to send to the academy. We need, some females out on patrol, and they're good, solid females are hard to come by to tote guns. And, so anyway, we're excited about that, and, getting ready for the new year. There's a lot of, tooling updates. I think Frank's working on camera system is falling apart in the jail, and that's going to be umpteen hundreds of thousands of millions of dollars to whatever he comes up with on that. And we, you know, it's another one of them things, we have to have them. And it's just this technology stuff that we have to have. It just seems like it doesn't last long. And but everything we do is used every day, 24 hours a day. But anyway, I'm not trying to cry the blues about it, just giving you a update on that. But we really try to keep the oil squirted to everything and try to keep everything maintenanced and taped together the best we can until we just blow it and use it plumb up and throw it away. Also met with purchasing committee the other day, and we're looking at some other avenues on dispersal of surplus property, like good cars, like seized cars. Running them through the car sale, maybe down at Murfreesboro, instead of filling with Gov Deals. Gov Deals, we're losing some money on a lot of items. We could get a lot more premium dollar out of some things, and the way the contract's set up with Gov Deals. And Gov Deals is good for certain things. It's a certain niche market. And then there's things that we could sell either through the auto auction type deal in Murfreesboro, and then for like junk items and abandoned properties and just stuff that you really don't want to take to CFC because you might get $5 out of it. And it's worth more than scrap price. We're looking at maybe once or twice a year going through a consignment farm auction from Tradition Auctions, and that's based out of here in Beech Grove. He puts on 2 auctions in Bedford County. He just had one last weekend. But that was a real power. Everybody was excited about that. So it gives us other avenues, because if we have stuff sitting around, it just deteriorates and depreciates. I want to roll it. You know, if it's clear, let's get rid of it. Plus, it just piles up. And for some reason, in the last 15 years, we're able to pile this. I mean, we have tons of guns that come in, and evidence, and stolen property that doesn't, you know, nobody claims it, and we just have to, we can't, you know, we just can't warehouse it, and we have to get rid of it. So we're going to use some other outlets to get rid of that, plus we get a little money back to go into funds to do things.
Sorry, I was reading the trucks.
The SROs have all got their vehicles that was paid for through the SRO grant. I think we're fully staffed with SROs. We have 12 for the 10 buildings. Got 2 working at the middle school, 2 at the high school. Dendy's, Sergeant Dendy's out at the Golf Center. The alternative school is kind of a roving supervisor, and Daniel Ray's our training officer, lieutenant over him. So Laura still has to come back and mommy figure them sometimes. So we're good right now. I've got a few patrol spots open that we're working on, and of course every day we're hiring somebody for the jail. We interviewed a girl today, and but I've been in the sheriff's meeting, state meeting this week, and yeah, I ate supper with Sheriff Bonner from Shelby County last night, and he's
Got his hands full, doesn't he?
he's 500 employees down in Shelby County jail and housing thousands of inmates, and I'm just like, we're good. We're once we get back home. So
I wouldn't want
just
to be in
what-
Shelby County
no,
having to take care of
and,
jails.
Hamilton County, not my friend Tom Spangler in Knox County sheriff. You know, he's 200 or 300 in spots down, and everybody's looking for help. But we're surviving, and if we just be patient, there'll be people walk through the door, and we caution everybody not to make bad hires. I see at the post commission a lot of waivers coming in where people have got arrest records and stuff, and I notice that in our law enforcement field, law enforcement executives, and I mean sheriffs and police chiefs when I say that, are kind of scraping a little further down in the barrel for applicants, and we caution about that, and because that can bite you down the road, and I'd much rather just offer some overtime to our current employees to cover things, whether it's in the jail or special details that we've got to do outside the jail, than just somebody will, oh, tag you're hired, come on, and that could cost us money down the road with a bad employee, and we've got enough, we've got enough, litigation going on with things like that now as it is, so, anyway, anybody have any questions? I hope you had a good Thanksgiving, and I hope you have a good Christmas, and, this year, has been, a trying year for me personally, and I want it to be over with. I've never wanted to wish my life away, and I know we've all had tragedies in our lives, and we've lost friends and neighbors, but when it's you personally, it's a different kind of feeling, and I've been to experience something I've never experienced before, and I appreciate all of you supporting us and the families and our law enforcement. I'm just excited to go into a new 2025, and wish a lot of people good health.
Me too.
I think a lot of people are
Amen.
looking forward to 25.
Yeah.
It was not necessarily a good year for everybody.
No, sir, it wasn't, and I'm just, it's, I'm looking forward to that, flipping that calendar over to another number, and we've lost a lot of good people in 2024, and neighbors and family. But
I got that call today. I lost one in McMinnville. This guy, he was the second, I believe, in command to that, with that, the trade school up there,
yeah,
Marvin Lusk.
yeah,
Yeah, he's my cousin.
I'll say,
Sorry to hear that.
Going through some things, and
yeah,
I get, somebody's been going and I'm like you,
Been
wish
a
the lives
bad
best.
last
I'm
few
waiting for
years.
next year too.
yeah. We've got,
Looking forward to it.
I think we've got several jury trials scheduled in top of the year.
Yep.
Hopefully some of those get negotiated. We don't have to sit around in circuit courts and for weeks and days and hours at a time. So maybe they'll, we do pretty good. They get right up to the
Yeah.
start, and they work pleas out. But we've got several trials planned out, so I'll be spending quite a bit of time up at the Justice Center, at the courthouse myself, with these higher profile cases that we've got coming up, and but yeah, we're excited with some technology things that Frank's got going on, and we're really modernizing. We're evolving into I guess I would into the current century with things that we've needed to do, but we've just picked away at it, and we've been blessed with some doors that's opened up, and we've been able to do something, and I've not had to come to the big body and beg and plead for too much, but we're CAD system at the comm centers updating, they have to do those about every 5 years, but that new CAD system will allow for us to work on having mobile data terminals, in other words, full-time large computer, the regular hardened computers in cars, and able to do the CAD system through that, and that stuff that we probably should have worked on 10 years ago. And
Yeah, I think they started training this week.
yeah,
Last
I
2 days
saw a
then.
message come through on that, so excited about that, and just kind of, we're a county of a size that we're gonna, I wouldn't have never thought that when I started, that we would be where we're at, but anyway, It's positive. Technology's good in a lot of ways and bad in others, so. Anyway, any questions, get out of your way.
No, anything new on the judicial commissioners that you know of?
No, I hear them in there preaching all the time.
I may try to get one to come to our next meeting, next year,
Yeah.
see if they've got any suggestions or needs, or,
Yeah, no, I mean, they're there and, doing their thing. We've, state legislators are passed some laws that's put a little more paperwork on us, put a little more paperwork on the officers dealing with required reporting that they need done. They just keep stacking more and more required, do this, do that, do this, and it always falls on the sheriff for some reason. Do this at the jail, do this at the jail, and do this at the jail, and we're going through audit right now. If anybody cares, I think I was quoted the other night of saying somebody was an idiot. And, I don't know if I meant that in a literal sense or if he really is an idiot. Everybody get that? The comptrollers is not the sheriffs of the state's friends right now. They're treating us like we're a bunch of crooks. And I'm just speaking frankly because that was the, Miss Jennifer, I got that same feeling from 94 other sheriffs this week and so to let you know, because you have to deal with the blunt of it, Mr. Mumpire himself is coming to the sheriff's meeting in February to address the treatment that we're getting and some of the unnecessary questions and idiotic responses that we're getting from his office. So, yes, and you're going to be welcome to go. Matter of fact, I'm going to require you to go, and I will get you a ride down there. And I'm just going to tell y'all, I got to tell you this because, we've had a kids camp. That was one of my big fuzzy, warm feeling things I wanted to do when I got elected sheriff. And we started right off that first year. Laura worked hard, and Jennifer and Daniel Ray and all the SROs put together this kids camp. Okay, we've never come to this body and asked for a dime, other than for what is regular duties. And people started giving the SROs money, and they've had their own checking account. Had nothing to do with the county. We did all this on their own. Jennifer's kept the books. So back in the summer, I'm coming down the road somewhere, and the comptroller auditor has gotten in touch with me. And this is his quote. Staff was watching Facebook and saw that you got a donation from an elementary school, and we need to know about this kids camp. And I said, well, what do you need to know about it? And well, what are you doing with the money? And I basically told him, I said, it's none of your business. Okay, now I know this is televised and watched, but I want the citizens here the bureaucracy that this thing does. And I said, why? Well, that's county money. I said, no, it's not. I said, it's no different than the men's class, Sunday school class, taking money up together to go bowling or something. It's not the church's money. So you're saying 24 hours a day, if I deputize you with a gun and a badge, that any monies that's donated to you to give to help some children is the government's money? Yes. And I'll just be honest with you, it crawled all over me a little bit, and because I knew how hard some employees had worked, and I knew the success of that camp, and we've even had people ask, could we extend it to 2 weeks?
Yes, I know, yeah.
But they've had their own bank account, and we're talking about $5,000 for a week of thing, and North Coffee Kids sold popsicle sticks out there and raised $700, and we had a little They wanted to do a little picture with me, and I went out there and we took a little picture. Well, they said they saw this on Facebook and they couldn't find it in our books.
Wow.
And I kind of called him out on it, and I said, "Ain't nobody sitting around the auditor's office monitoring our Facebook pages. I just don't. Y'all are too busy digging into everybody's government lives." And he said, "Well, you got to do something." He says, "You're not a 501c3 or this or that." I said, "Okay." Well, I've got multiple 501c3s that we could operate under, right? So I got to thinking. I went to Mariana. She called it out as a bunch of crap as well. But we come up with this. We made government larger that day because of the kids' camp. We made Coffee County Sheriff's Department larger. We made government larger, which is totally against my philosophy of larger government and more bureaucracy. And we've added a line item in the sheriff's office, and we turned over everything into the county general fund. The kids' camp is now an official part of Coffee County government, which does that not make government bigger when you add something to it, right?
Yeah. Well, being a big part of that when it got started, the outpour of the community and people that love the idea of taking these kids and giving them something at the end of the school year, a camp for the week, to interact with law enforcement and to do things that they'd never done before, because so many would come say, "We never been bowling, we never did," and the community wanted to give money so those kids could go do those things. So
Well,
I hate that that's.
And maybe the way we handled that was illegal and criminal. But you know what? Just lock me up. Take me to trial. I'll stand before a jury of 12 over giving some kids something to do.
Yeah.
And another thing I said, we've never had a ding in our audits, and that's because of that lady right there. We've never had a write-up. We've never had a finding, and then we work and
She does a
strive
good
on that,
job.
and that's because of Jennifer Green. She's done such a good job that, how many times has Mariana tried to steal you from me? Twice. I wear that as a badge of honor. That means a lot. And but I'm sure they're going to try to ding us on this. I'm not going to sign off on it. I'm going to appeal it to the highest court, and I'll pay for it out of my pocket. And then they call and say, why do we have $200,000 more in February in cash bonds? And I go, I guess more people got arrested.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I just don't get it. We're in the black in a lot of ways, and you're coming at me about the monies we've got coming in, and most of the time you're chasing people about monies that are going out or stolen. I don't know what's going on up there in Nashville in our comptroller's office, but they need to change their attitude of what they're doing and how they're doing it and how they're approaching people, and that they just come in and think that we've got to drop everything we're doing and cater to them right then and there. And this lady deserved the trip that she went on this summer, and we told the comptroller, if you need something, you better get it now, because she won't be back for a month, and I don't know where it's at, and I'm not going to look it up for you. So, Jennifer Green has been with me since day one, and she's got a thankless job. She does the work in the office that in most sheriff's office our size has 3 other people doing. All the ladies in my office are doing work. Warren County has twice as many clerical people doing warrants. I've got one. Warren County's Sheriff's Office, Franklin County Sheriff's Office has multiple people doing sex offenders, doing TIBERs, doing our NCIC entries, and we're doing that with 1 or 2 people. So I want to tell Jennifer and Jenny Sherrill and Leslie Parker and Shannon, we have done more with less, and we get the job done, and I don't give them enough praise for what they do. And we've done things in our investigative division with the team that we had that most counties can't get done. Other counties ask for our help, and we go. So I just wanted to take that opportunity. I don't care what the comptroller's office comes down here and does. They put their underwear on just like I do, and I'll take it all day long that they want to know why we got more money coming in than we got going out.
Let's give her a,
Yeah, Jennifer.
I would give her a standing ovation, but I can't, if I get up, I might not be able to.
So I hope since they're trolling Coffee County so much, I hope they're watching this and quit being an idiot. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Hey, thank you.
We'll set the next date and time after 2025,
Okay.
so just put to be determined.
Okay.
Since we're on the quarterly. Need a motion for adjournment.
I'll make that motion.
Second. Thank you.
All right.
Meeting adjourned at 5:22.
Miss Linda Baker, how are you doing?